Coco here is freaking me out a little bit because he's a boy and I have a niece named Coco, so I keep on gravitating towards a female. Now, I just got done going over kind of the importance of rules and structure. I think we have two petulant dogs in this house. I think that they both have been a little bit spoiled, and now they get a little bit frustrated when they don't get their way every single time. So consistently enforcing the rules and boundaries is going to go a long ways towards helping the dogs see and respect their humans as authority figures instead of demanding things, asking for them, and asking them for them in a nice way. Now, one of the things I went over were escalating consequences, which I'm not going to go into in this video, but I'm going to show you how to use the escalating consequences to disagree with unwanted actions and behaviors. So I asked the guardian if she thought I could take one of these treats and put it on the ground and walk away from it without saying anything to him and get him to leave it alone. She's like, yeah, good try. So it's the perfect response. I love hearing that. So this is what I call a leadership exercise. Now, what I'm going to do is when dogs claim things, they stand over whatever they're claiming and they hover over it. Now, I only have 2 paws or feet, so I'm going to drop this between my feet. But before I drop it, I want to get the dog to move away, so I'm going to take 2 treats. The first one I'm going to roll over there on the floor, get the dog to move away. Once the distance has been increased, then I'm going to get down like this, and I'll wait for that dog to turn around when it's way over there. When it turns around, I'm going to drop the treat about 2 to 4 inches. Dogs' eyes are not very good for detail or for color. They're great for movement. So if I place it on the ground, the dog will not see it or be as drawn to it as if I drop it. If I drop it from up here, I don't know where it's going to go. So I'm going to bend down like this and drop it the last like 2 to 4 inches. Now, once I drop it, the dog is not allowed to come within 3 feet of the treat. Now, it doesn't know this yet, and clearly doesn't know this yet. And so I'm going to use the escalating consequences to disagree. Now, I am going to hold out my hands like this. Now, we have a table here, so it's going to make it a little bit challenging. But imagine that there's a line on the floor where my fingertips are. The dog is not allowed to cross that line. It can go anywhere else it wants in the room. It just can't come within 3 feet of my treat. 3 feet is the snatching zone. Now, if it's walking towards it when it's about 4 feet away, I'm going to hiss. Once it crosses the 3-foot zone, I'm going to march towards it using the third escalating consequences. Wherever the dog goes, I'm going to keep the second consequence going and keep the dog in front of me and not allow it to go behind me. This will make more sense when I actually start doing it. All right, so this is the first time I've done this with him, so I don't know. I see people doing this on TV. They've already practiced it 20 times, and then they do it with your dog. They know what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I have a good idea what's going to happen. All right, so he's moved away a little bit, so now I'm going to make the sound. I'm going to roll the first one over there. Get down, get ready. And he's using my table as an advantage. When he sits down, I want to take a step back at the same time. When he sits down or lays down, that's a way of saying I surrender. Now, he laid down way too fast, but if you see him, I don't know if you can see him, but he's breathing heavy. This is hard for him. He normally would just go get it. Now, you see he's, all right, there he goes. He's looking at me, so I take a step back. I'm waiting for him to look at me before I take a step away each time. And you probably can't see my head in this, but that's fine. Now, normally I wait until the dog lays down before I let him have it, but he laid down so quickly, I want to kind of calibrate this a little bit and move a little bit further away just to show. Now, he's a little bit too close. This is about 1 foot, and we would like him to be 3 feet away. So I'll move him further away. There we go. Take a step backwards. Wait for him to look and acknowledge me before I take another step back. He looks away. When he looks back at me, then I come back. Booty. All right. So booty is the word I say when the dog takes it in their mouth. Eventually, we're going to ask the dog to not to take it until he hears the word booty. So I'm going to do it again. This time I'm going to do it in this area so I have a little bit more room. You want to make sure when you're doing that the 3-foot circle is not obstructed like by the table. So Coco, let's throw the first one over there. Let him go get it. Drop. Now I'm waiting for him to look at me because this is kind of like, we have 2 pretty girls here who are the guardians. It's kind of like if a girl's talking to a guy and she's like, my face is up here. It's kind of the same sort of principle. If he's just looking at the treat, he's not acknowledging me, he's kind of objectifying the treat. So I want him to understand that just because the treat is there, my authority carries to that. Now as soon as he lays down, booty. I let him have it as soon as he lays down. This way he understands that laying down and not challenging me is what gets him the reward. Now, he's done it a couple times. I've demonstrated. I'm going to talk about now about how we can add to this. This is an exercise that I like the guardians usually practice for about a 2-week period. So when we do this, we like I said, we go through it just the way that I showed you. But as soon as he lays down, that's when we kneel down. At first, I'm literally kneeling down. The treat is about 3 feet away, and I tap near it to get the dog to come and take it. Some dogs won't even take it. They're like, you just got done telling me I can't have it. I'm not going anywhere near that. If that's the case, sometimes I'll breadcrumb like this, and I'll lead the dog to the treat and then let them have it. But you don't want to touch it once it's on the ground. So once you get to the point where when you're doing this, the dog pretty much is laying down right away. It's not even trying to come in towards it. You don't have to hiss to make the sound to disagree or march towards it. Now he's going to keep on trying to go around it. And he can walk anywhere around the room. It's kind of cool when he's doing it. It's like there's a force field. He'll walk around. If he was walking from there to there, he would walk here, do a half circle around it, and then continue a straight line. So he's showing respect for your authority. So once you've done this and he starts laying down right away, he's not trying to take the treat. Never sit down when you're doing this until the dog is at least sitting first. What I would usually do is I would orientate it between me and the TV. So I can sit on the couch there and do it. You may shift the table a little bit over, put it right between. So you're going to throw the treat this way, make sure you block something so it doesn't roll under here, then you're going to walk back that way. Now as soon as the dog sits, you can sit down on the couch. Now at first, as soon as he lays down, he gets the treat. But then after a while, he lays down, then we're going to wait 5 seconds. Then I go over, give him permission to have it. Then next time I do 10 seconds, then 15 seconds. Then I go usually 15, 30, 45. Then I go to 1 minute, and I go by 1 minute intervals up to 15 minutes. Now, having your dog wait around for 15 minutes, not get your treat, we have busy lives. Most people don't have time to do that over and over again. But we spend more than 15 minutes a day watching this thing. So if we do this in concert with watching TV, we put the treat on the ground, we go sit down on the couch, the dog goes for the treat, going into our line of sight so we can correct him. It blows the dog's minds because normally, like when this thing's on, I can do whatever the hell I want. The humans aren't paying attention to me. Now, because you've positioned the treat between the couch and the TV, you're able to do 2 things at the same time. So this teaches the dog helps it practice self-restraint. It helps the humans practice using the escalated consequences and acting as a leader because we're correcting the dog repetitively. And it also helps you use those escalated consequences in other capacities. So make yourself a little chart, and I would do it 1 for each dog. So each dog has to do this. Don't do them together. So have one dog in the other room or somewhere else so the other dog can't come and steal the treat. But basically, keep on doing it. And what I would probably do is, if we're at 15 seconds, this guardian does 15 seconds, and then the roommate does 15 seconds. Then the next time you do it, you go to 30 seconds, and then you do 30 seconds, then 45 and 45. So you're both mirroring the same thing. And if you go out of town, when you come back home, maybe you're at 5 minutes, then you just jump in at 5 minutes. So that way the dog sees everyone else is the same, having the same level of authority. But this is a great exercise because, like I said, it takes the dog, it gives the dog a target, it helps you practice the escalating consequences, and helps the dog practice. Just because I want something doesn't mean I get it. I have to look to the humans for permission to get it, which is going to help with a lot of the problems that these guardians ask me to help with. Coco. Now, if you really want to get crazy, I talked to a guardian earlier about did she teach the dog to drop or leave it. She says that she taught the dog to drop. We'll talk about the leave it maybe off camera. I might have another video. But Teddy, you did very good, buddy. This is what I like to call the leadership exercise.